Good morning, Flosstube. My name is Laura, and I'd like to welcome you to Stitching by the Shore, my channel all about cross stitch. Every once in a while, we talk about something else crafty, but today it is all cross stitch. If you are new, I want to say welcome. Thank you so much for pressing play and giving my channel a try. And if you're a returning viewer, as always, thank you so much for stitching with me, hanging out with me, listening to my stitchy journey, and just being a part of it. I really do appreciate each and every one of you. It's Friday again. I can't believe it. The week has flown by as they seem to do. And we're hitting the middle of March already. So time is flying. I have, what do I have? I have 7 pieces to talk about today. I have a new start and I have a finish. So that was good. And then some regular pieces that I've been stitching along. But before I do that, I do want to address a situation that came up. Last week, I had shown you some charts that I had gotten from 3 different designers on Etsy. And there were 3 Ukrainian designers, and I was trying to support and do the best I can. Well, what I didn't realize was with one of the shops, one of the pieces I bought was copyright infringement. So I am not been a stitcher of a lot of Miras in my time. In fact, none. I've done one Nora Corbett, and I do like the Bewixing Pixies, I think they're called, but I haven't really done, and I've never really shopped for Mirabilias before. So some very kind stitchy friends reached out to me and emailed me after the video and said, I don't know if you realize, but the Flower Girl pattern that you had bought is actually a Mirabilia. I was horrified. I didn't know. I was just trying to do something good. I so appreciate those of you who reached out. So I immediately took that shop's links off of my video. So they're not on the video, in the description box. And then I kind of Googled Mirabilia and Nora Corbett, and I tried to find a contact me button because I can't do anything. I can't say anything to Etsy. They're not going to do anything. I don't hold the copyright. So I reached out, and the only email I could find was to Witchelt. When it said contact me, that was the email. So I emailed Witchelt. I gave them the link. I told them, that this was happening. I never received a response from them. It would have been nice just to know that they had gotten it, but I did want to let them know that this was obviously happening. So I had bought 3 designs from that shop. I honestly don't know if the other 2 are original designs or if they're stolen. I'm going to do my best to try to find out, so that if they are stolen images or designs, I can reach out to the original designer and let them know. And so I can also buy the original from the designer, so they are not losing the money. If I do stitch them, if I know the actual designer, I will let you know the real one. If I can't figure it out, I most likely will not mention this shop because I will not be able to know if those designs are pirated or not. So I do apologize for misleading anybody. But I was just trying to do something good. That was my best intentions. I am going to link Jan Hicks. She has a blog list of designers, Ukrainian designers. If you're looking to continue to support the designers, and you will see a piece by 2x2 StitchArt, which I really enjoy shopping from, who is a Ukrainian designer. And I will continue to look for original designs from designers, and I will hopefully try to promote and support some more of them and give you some ideas of legitimate designs that we can all stitch up. So I did want to mention that, and I wanted to mention at the very beginning, just so that nobody is tempted to go buy the, if you are as ignorant of Mirabilia designs as I am, because I really don't know them, except for, Janet Jabber with her queens. I know those, and, that kind of stuff. But for the most part, I really don't know the designs. So if you were not aware, that pattern is not an original design. And I just wanted to make sure everybody knew that. Okay, so let's go with the fun stuff of the stitching now. Okay, so I started Friday after the video, I didn't do a lot of stitching, but I decided I want to do a start. And you know, I've been looking at some of the different freebies that are supporting Peace for Ukraine and supporting Ukraine in general. And I had seen this on, let me grab it. I had seen this on Instagram from Street Stitchworks. Now her original pattern is in her, so I will link, she's got a page of all freebies. So I will link that down below. And if you scroll down, there's one called Flowers in a Window. And that's what it looks like. Now in the design that she showed on Instagram, everything was stitched, I believe, like this, except for the flowers. They were in shades of blue and yellow. It was beautiful, beautiful. It caught my eye right away. And I said I wanted to grab that. This is the exact design that you use, and then you kind of do it your own way. I am going to continue to use, I believe it's 444. Let me see if I can reach my DMCs here. 322 and 444 are the green, not the green, the blue and the yellow that I used on the first piece from Modern Folk Embroidery that I started last week. So I decided I wanted to keep that kind of color scheme through any of the freebies that I would do. And I actually decided that I also wanted to change the border. I'm not sure what color I'll do, you know, the actual branches or, you know, the piece down here, what I'll do with those. But for the border, I decided I wanted to also do that in the blue and the yellow. And that's all. It's bigger than you realize. That looks like a really small piece until you start stitching it. So that's what I have. I did the entire blue border, and then I started, the inner border will be the yellow. And then once I get that done, then I can start stitching the flowers in the other part of it. This fabric is 18 count, and it's Shirley. This is what it looks like in general. Shirley from Fortnight Fabrics. Now I am in the Fortnight Fabrics Fabric of the Month Club. I started late last year, so I didn't get a lot from last year's, because you can join at any time and then you rejoin when because they changed the clubs, I guess, in January. And I did rejoin with some of the clubs in January. But it's the first time I've actually stitched on some of their Aida, and it is beautiful to stitch on. It is just that nice in-between sweet spot of not being really stiff Aida and not being super floppy Aida. It's quite lovely, quite lovely. So if you've thought about giving them a try and you're an Aida stitcher, I can tell you right now, their Aida is gorgeous to stitch on. I wouldn't hesitate to recommend them at all. Really, really great Aida. So that's what we have. And I'll switch between all these freebies and, you know, continue to work on them. There's one or two others that I've also been drawn to that I think I would put in a rotation. We're almost there where I can let my mind not think of 20,000 things at once. And I'm definitely trying to catch my train of thought with the ums a lot today. So I need to just stop and think before I keep talking. That seems to be right now it's my placeholder word as I take a thought. So we'll see if I can work on that today, because it's even bugging me. I'm sure for those of you who don't like the ums, it's bugging you too. So that's what we have. It doesn't look like much right now, but you know, Friday evenings, you know, Friday later afternoon if I have a little bit of time, and then Friday evening, because you know, between videotaping and then uploading and all that other stuff, usually I don't stitch at all Friday mornings. I'm starting a little bit later today because Meg was up here. We pulled out, oh, there I did it again. We pulled out just an extra bed, one of those the arrow bed type things. And there's empty space up there. So we stuck it up there. So she was sleeping up here and woke up a little later, obviously. So I'm starting a little later. It's okay. It's okay. But that's what we have. And that's called Flowers in a Window. Stone Street has some really lovely freebies. I would suggest clicking on that link and seeing if there's anything you like. I like their patterns in general, so I really enjoy their freebies as well. So then It's funny, on the weekends, you'd think I'd have a lot of stitching time on the weekends, but I generally don't because, well, right now, on Saturday, last week, Mo and Connor came down because Connor was on spring break or is on spring break. Mo brought him down from Worcester. And then when everybody's here, I don't seem to get as much stitching time. Weekdays are definitely my better stitching time because Mo is working and I can do stuff and then stop and stitch and do stuff and stop and stitch and all that. So he came and we were pulling out, he had brought down more boxes of things that he had packed up, few things, not too much. We already had most things here. And so there was some of that unpacking, and I was trying to unpack what was already here from our last trip down. So I decided, the long and the short, is I wanted to do something easy on Saturday, and I really, really wanted to stitch the girl. So this is Plum Street Samplers, Betsy's Autumn, and I really wanted to stitch her. So I said that was my goal. I almost met my goal, but not 100%. I really just focused on her. I think there was one apple or something I had to stitch because she counted off of that. But other than that, I really didn't get much more. So I'm gonna fold it in half because, well, let me show you the full thing first. So that's what the full thing looks like. It's so pretty. I really enjoy this design. It is done on an 18 count Honey Amber by Fabrics by Stephanie. Really, really pretty. So now let's fold so we can really concentrate on the section that I did. And I worked on her, and I did that apple. Now you'll notice she has no face. The called for color for the face, the DMC alternative, I don't know what the variegated floss would be. Let me see here. I don't know. It was a week's, I think. But the DMC alternative, which I bought because, you know, I just buy the list and then, or pull it out of my thing because I have, obviously, after I've used them, I put them away. However, I pulled out that DMC. It was really pink, really not bright pink, kind of like a Lizzie Kate bright pink, but it was a mauvey pink. And I said, I don't want her face to look like that. So I didn't do her face. I'm going to go back and think about what I'm going to change there. And then everything else except this little bit of her dress, I did complete. Now, I messed up on the house. I wasn't paying attention when I was stitching it. I stitched it a few rows too far. Luckily, I didn't stitch it so far that that would be a problem with her dress. So her dress is, there's one square between her dress and the house. I really lucked out there. But it's just enough that I could keep it without having to rip out all of that and redo all of that. So almost hit my goal, just a little bit there. And I want to sit down with my DMCs and think about, with this color scheme and how this looks, what I want to do for her face. So this is coming along. Here I still have grass to do, and then I still have some leaves to do. I haven't quite finished that. And some pumpkin stems, but it's almost done. My goal was to get this one finished. I have both this and Cinnamon Stars started, and I decided that I needed to get at least one of them finished. And this one is probably a year older than Cinnamon Stars. And I'll be honest, of the two, this one is I enjoy this one better than Cinnamon Stars. I like Cinnamon Stars, but I prefer this one. So I said I really want to stitch it. My goal is to get it finished, and there is a current Cinnamon Stars stitch along going on. So if at some point I can get this one finished and I can pull out Cinnamon Stars again, I will hop on that stitch along. If you've thought about stitching this though, it's really a fun and lovely piece. I love the swaying branches of leaves. That's one of my favorite parts of this piece. Fair warning though, the house is huge. Again, you don't think it, but there's a lot to stitch there. So that's Betsy's Autumn. Then because it was still the weekend, I said I want something that will be easy because I know I'm going to be up and down, flitting about, trying to do stuff. Mo will be going back and forth. He likes to putter and do his thing and then come and we do stuff and whatever. So I wanted to pick something easy. I picked this up because it's monochromatic, it's one color. I was getting near the end and I pulled out a finish. Super excited. This is what it looks like. Actually, let me show you the original. It is a free pattern and I do link it in the description box below. So you do not need to try to, when I show you it, let me see. Don't try to screenshot it. It's linked below. In this, it's recommended stitching it in a red DMC, and you can do it on white or whatever. Actually, doing it in red on a pink fabric would be pretty. I decided though, right from the get-go, I wanted to do it on a reddish fabric with white, and that's what I ended up doing. So that's what it looks like. This is 18 count red wine from To Die For Fabrics. It is a beautiful, beautiful shade. Now remember, this is 18 count and they all dye differently, but it is a deep pink / light red and it is so fun. And the white looks great on it in person. Hopefully that's coming through. This was a really fun stitch to do. I had pulled it out. Was it last week or the week before? Last week, I think. I had talked about pulling this out because I wanted to embrace the idea of love. And I had given a quote that I had seen, it had been attributed to Jimi Hendrix, and I had seen it in several memes. And one of you, you all are so smart. I love it. I love it. I get educated every time. One of you had reached out and actually put the original quote with the original person. And the quote is, and I wrote it down, so I'm going to look down a little bit just so we get it. We look forward to the time when the power of love will replace the love of power. Then will our world know the blessings of peace, which I think is so lovely. And William E. Gladstone is the original person who said that quote. If this is something that I put in a stitching scrapbook, that quote will be in there with it, because that was kind of what brought me back to working on this piece. And again, it is all kind of in backdrop to what our world is right now, the power of love versus the love of power. So super excited to get this one finished. I really enjoyed it. I do like monochromatic pieces. I do say it's a lot of fun sometimes just to have that one color and just have to pull out that one color. So I had finished that one and I had a little time Sunday night, and then I wanted to do some more on Monday. Usually I stitch on something different every day. Sometimes I will do something for a couple strands each day and then do something else. It switches around. I don't have any set plans. I hadn't stitched this one, I don't think, in the last week or two for a little bit. And I had just bought some more patterns from this designer. So I said, I'm gonna go and pull this one out and stitch it. And it is Northern Lights by 2x2 StitchArt. 2x2 StitchArt is a Ukrainian designer. It is a really fun stitch. It's charted nicely. If you've not used them before, for the next, well, it's probably, I had started this, I got my iPad ready a few hours ago. So it says sale ends in 33 hours. I'm going to say sale ends in 30 hours. So right now we are on Friday morning, March 11th. If in the next 30 hours you are watching this and you would like to go over to 2x2 StitchArt, they're having a 50% off sale. So right now this pattern would be $2.25. They have some really, really fun and lovely patterns if you've never seen them before. So that's what the original looks like. And that's what mine looks like. This is done in your plain old standard 18 count white Aida. Nothing fancy about it. And it's hilarious. I can't seem to get one piece finished on this. I keep jumping. So I had filled in here. I had found a color that I was missing. I did that. Then I did some of this tree. Then I said, let's go back over here. I finished around here, worked here, and just kind of kept just going back and forth. I think I just wanted to pull out, excuse me, a whole bunch of different colors. 2x2 StitchArt has this same exact pattern in I don't know if it's pink shades or purple shades. It might be pink shades. It's beautiful. So if you would prefer kind of a pink shade sort of version of this, I know there is another version of this as well. I enjoy stitching this one a lot. I really do. And it's a good way if you wanted to try some full coverage without it being the giant full coverages. This is a great one to do because the entire circle is stitched. So it is full coverage. So that's what it looks like. Okay. Then I decided on Tuesday I wanted to stitch Lady Halloween. There was the potential that Wednesday we were going to go, Megan had a game, and there was a potential we were going. It really would be something I could stitch in the car. So I said, I want it, you know, I have to get Lady Halloween each week. The week wouldn't feel complete if I didn't stitch her. This is what it looks like from Jardin Prive, if you've not seen it before. And let's hold her up. There she is in all her glory. See how close I can get to show all of her. Oh, I just love this one. This week I concentrated on this side of the pattern. I have little bits on both sides to do. First, I had to do all the inside of this little element, so I did that. Then I had realized that I hadn't done some of the pieces up here. I had done most of them, but I hadn't done all of them. So I finished that, and then I concentrated on the cat. Now, I don't know. It's funny, when I watch this back, I might be able to see it just fine. But the cat is stitched in C310 black Etoile. So he sparkles. Whether or not he's showing up on there or not, I'm not sure. And that's the last of the Etoile that I will put in. We have Etoile for her hair, and that's a mixed color. We have Etoile for the frog. Then I did the bubbles and the potion, and then finally the cat. And I am doing I believe everybody told me it was light effects. I will be doing the cobwebs, all of the cobwebs for the spiders in, I think, that light effects. Otherwise, it's just different 3 different DMCs. All of the information of which colors I have used are in the description box below. So I will add this one to this week's and continue there. There is a stitch along that I kind of threw out there, and Gail Phillips, who is almost done with this, her last Flosstube, we saw it, and it's so beautiful. It's looking so good. Gail is doing it in black silk. So if you've not seen it, please go and check her out. This is an 18 count Smokey Amethyst from To Die For Fabrics. Gail is doing it on a beautiful piece of Bestitch Me fabric if you'd like to see. Somewhat same color scheme, but more colors brought into it. It looks beautiful. So that's where Lady H is. I'm really going to be sad when she's done. I do enjoy bringing her out each week. Of course, at the end, I'm going to have kind of back stitch and all that kind of stuff. So I might have to kind of convince myself to finish that last part. I don't mind back stitch so much. I just don't enjoy it either. You know, it's kind of one of those, meh. So if I had a chance to do X's to make a picture come out, but I do get that always adds something extra to it too. So it will get done. It just won't be my favorite part of this. I have a big element to concentrate here. I have some more bumblebees I have to stitch, and then I have the back stitch to do as well. So that's where it is. Lady Halloween. I'm so thrilled with so many of you who said you want to stitch it, have bought it, haven't started it, have started it, are thinking about it. I say go for it. It is a really, really fun stitch. Love it. I know not everybody stitches Halloween, so it may not be your jam, but if you like that and you do like stitching Halloween, I say go for it. I have 2 more pieces. Wednesday turned out to be an awful, awful weather day. It was rainy, that cold, wet rain. It was mid-30s. Connecticut, they got snow. We didn't get any down here. And we would have had to bring Shamrock to the game. And Shamrock right now, he's not, the cold weather is not, he lost weight and he's still, you know, trying to gain it back. and he doesn't do well in the cold being outside. And we have a sweater and jackets and stuff, but it just wouldn't have been enough. And I almost feel like I would have needed almost like a doggy pouch to bring him, and then he wouldn't have wanted to stay in that. So we ended up not going to the game and just staying home watching it streaming. Well, sort of watching it streaming. They didn't clean off the camera lens. We were looking at the game through all the raindrops. But anyway, and I guess Maggie said it was very cold and awful and terrible. So I'm really glad, selfishly for me, that I wasn't out in that cold, but I really would have felt guilty about putting Shamrock in that position. And there's no way we could ever leave him alone. Never mind for a couple hours, and that would have been, by the time we got there, the game come back, it would have been a 6 to 8 hour trip. So there was no way. Which meant that I didn't need to think about a car piece. I could do something that had multiple pieces of threads or colors or was a little bit more elaborate. And I hadn't stitched Autumn Town in a while from Autumn Lane Stitchery. So that's what I pulled out. And I said, let's get a little bit done on this. So that's the original, what it looks like. And that's where I am. This is an 18 count fallen leaf from To Die For Fabrics. It's funny, you think it should roll off of my tongue at this point because I've stitched it for so long and I've shown it to you quite often. This week I concentrated, so let me fold it over on this side right here. I finally got this big giant tree done. I got all of that done. I started to work then over here. What I realized when I was doing, I think I was starting to fill in a little bit of the house, and then I had to backtrack. I counted wrong, and the house is 1 or 2 boxes too far over this way. So I stopped doing the house because I wasn't sure 100% how much of my mistake there was. And I went and I finished off the trees and realized, okay, I know what my mistake is. I also started to do, it's harder to see this path here because I want to count off of all of these elements for the different parts of the house. And I think it'll be easy just to add an extra, for example, I have an extra couple of roof pieces I have to go back and add in. I think I can finagle the house so it won't look funny because I messed up the counting rather than worrying about all of the stuff that comes here. Get that and then work off of that for that mistake that I made. So a little bit of fixing and finagling a little bit, but it should be fine. It's not going to affect the rest. I mean, I still have, you know, the whole bottom of the piece to do. It's not going to affect that. I think it should be, I think it'll be fine because it's not anything that goes, that's going to affect down. It's just this part. So I'll figure it out. And the more and more I work on this piece, I really do think I want to take these colors. And if you watched my project parade back at the beginning of the year, the Prairie Schooler piece that I'm doing, that is the fall scene. I can't remember what it's called. I really do think I want to rechart it in these colors. I think it would be really fun to have that pop out and use these tree colors and when I get to the pumpkin colors for that piece. I think the two would be a lot of fun. So I probably will restart that at some point. So that's Autumn Town. Autumn Lane Stitchery. There was a really, I had seen one of their pieces released, I think it was at Market. I think it was one of their witch pieces. She was kind of a garden sort of witch. I really loved it. And I think I have the perfect piece of fabric that I had gotten from Under the Sea Fabrics as a fabric of the month. I really, when that comes out, that is, I don't necessarily buy things from Market. I kind of just look and then think about it. But I do want to potentially get that piece, grab the flosses, and then I can't wait to try to toss it on that fabric and see if it works. I'll let you know. I'll keep you posted if it does. This would have been Wednesday's piece if I had been in the car. But since I didn't go driving on Wednesday, I said, oh, I haven't done this one in a little bit. I'm missing it. I enjoy stitching it. So let's just pick this out. So this was yesterday's stitch. It's from Hands On Design. It's called Winter Solstice. A lovely stitchy friend had gifted me this. And I had not known of this pattern I adore it. I am so enjoying this, and I will most definitely pass this one along, and I will pass the stash when I finish this. I am really enjoying stitching this. Now, I am not stitching them separate. I'm stitching them together. They won't be a pillow because I don't really make pillows because don't really have a place to put them. But I don't know what I would do with this, whether it would go in the stitching scrapbook, if it would go out, we'll see. I gotta finish it first. So that's what I have. This is an 18 count lapis from To Die For Fabrics. It's a great fabric. Again, it's 18 count and it's just a perfect shade of blue. Look at that. Really, really pretty. Now, basically what I did was I just put the two pieces side by side. What's really neat is that means they kind of mirror each other. So this one, the words will be on this side, the word will be on this side, and then the houses just face different directions. So you've got the smoke will go in different ways. I think it'll be kind of fun. Now, if you look in the original, you'll notice that the words solitude and serenity, bring it up close so you can just see one, they are charted in a color. And I had pulled out the DMC alternative for that. And I mean, it's a nice green. It's that. But as I've been stitching this, let me show you this way. I really like, I did the outline and left the words. I really like it like that. And just showing through is kind of that negative image of the words. Partly because I really like this blue, maybe, I'm not sure. I don't think that the green would add anything to it. I really think I'm gonna keep it as a negative image and have the words like that. It won't pop in the same way as the green would pop it, but I'm not necessarily looking for that. As I stitch this, the blue to me feels like serenity and well, not solitude so much, but serenity. And so I think I want to keep it in the blue. So that is the one change I'm going to make. Otherwise, I'm stitching it in all the DMC alternatives. And now these, I mean, I could have done them separately. They'd be small because it's 18 count. Obviously, you could make it bigger being on a bigger count so that they could be more pillow size. These would be small pillow size if they were done separately. But I think I'm going to really like this, just like that. So that was the last piece that I worked on yesterday. I have no idea this week, well, besides Lady Halloween, I really don't have any idea what I plan on working on. I did put a few stitches in one of my full coverages, the Ocean Village one, but not a lot. And I'm still at the tippy top where it's just nothing but kind of the sky. So when I put in a little bit more, I will show you. I would like to rotate each week, maybe setting aside a little time to spend a couple hours each week on a full coverage piece, and then put them rotationally, and then every once a month show something. I don't know what, but I would like to show them and get back into them to a certain degree. So we'll see. I do enjoy stitching them quite a lot. They're a lot of fun to stitch. They're totally different than some of my other pieces, but I enjoy them. And I so love watching stitchers who stitch nothing but full coverage. There's several floss tubers that all they stitch is really full coverage, and I really enjoy it. And it always gives me that itch that, oh, I want to get back to some of those full coverages. So be on the lookout. You might see those a little bit more. In fact, I might start one at some point because, you know, I only have 3 going. It's not like, you know, it's not like it's going to take me 5 or 10 years to do these things. Anyway, that's it for the stitching part. I got some lovely happy mail. Every time I open up the mailbox and there's happy mail in there, it just makes me smile. I am so appreciative of each and every one of you who've sent. And I'm not asking, I mean, sometimes just a card. If anybody ever wants to just say hi or a little note, even an email. I love it. Sometimes some of you just send me emails or Instagram messages, especially after a video if we were having a tough time with Shamrock or something. And I so appreciate every time somebody reaches out. Thank you so much for that. It really does mean a lot. You've given me a community and people to connect with, because in my world, being a crafter, I don't really have a lot of crafter friends, so I'm a little bit of an oddity to most of my family and friends. They don't quite get me. And then add being a vegan on top of it, forget it altogether. But I received, and I haven't, I'm not going to say this lovely friend's name because I just received this and I haven't asked her if I could. I got a lovely card from a stitchy friend. Now this stitchy friend had reached out to me about variegated DMCs and DMCs in general. She is, I would classify her as an expert. She's had years of stitching with them, and I tell you, the email she sent me, thank you so much, dear friend. I am keeping that email in a special area so that I can refer to it often. And she said, I'd like to send you a couple of DMC variegateds so that you can play around with them. And then she had offered me suggestions and so on and so forth. So look at these beautiful, beautiful colors that she sent me. Thank you so much. I adore these. The blues and the greens. Some of my I love color. I have to say, and I don't know, maybe it's my years of paper crafting and just really exploring color. But I'll say, oh, I love blues and greens. But then in the back of my mind, I'm thinking, oh, but there are times when I like the yellows and the oranges. And then there are times when I like the pinks and the reds. I think it's just, I just love color. But you know, I have a special affinity for blues and greens and purple. Purples were there's a little bit of shade of purple in that. Purples were my all-time favorite when I was in kindergarten. I did enjoy Harold and the Purple Crayon. That was one of my favorite books. But anyway, thank you so much. Like I said, I have taken your words of wisdom with the DMCs, and I am going to run with it and try and experiment and play. So I appreciate that. I cannot wait to try some of these. They look so fun. Then I had heard from one of my lovely stitchy friends here. You had sent me a Sister Lou Stitches pattern. Oh, I didn't take these out. I'm not going to now, just because I don't want to ruin them. A Sister Lou Stitches pattern, and it was the 3 snowmen, and I was so excited because there's so much you could do with it. And her patterns, it's great because there are so many things you can pick and choose from. So she had reached out to me and she said, thank you for those kind words. I'd love to send you a pattern and pick one out. So I went to her designs, and Sarah Wilbur, Sarah is the designer. I picked this one. It's called The Best Therapist Dogs. And the quote is, the best therapists have 4 paws and fur. She does have a cat version for all of my cat lover stitchy friends. Isn't that great? And what I adore about this, I don't want to turn it because there's part of the pattern on the back. Well, first, I love the little doggy on her. But there's different wonderful doggies. There's different parts that you could stitch to this and things that you can add. You know, when I look at a pattern, not only do I look at it as a whole, but I look at it in different pieces as well. So this, first off, because of my love of dogs, especially my little Shamrock, I saw this right away and I had to have it. And it's just a lot of fun. Everything is charted. I'm looking at the back of the chart, almost fully in DMC. There's 1 weeks and 1 gentle art. Otherwise, it's all. Oh, and there is a dog charm, and she does list where she got it and what the item number is. So that's kind of cool too, if you wanted to add something like that. So thank you so much. But then in that, she said, I'm sending you a little treat as well. She sent me, so this is a new series. It's a 6-month series, and there are 2 designs in each. And between March and August, there'll be 2 released per month. So probably 2 months in the one package. I assume that's what it is. And obviously there are lots of ways to stitch it. And this is the 12 Mice of Christmas. So she's doing a version of 12 Days of Christmas. And isn't that super cute? And you could stitch them as the 12 days. You don't have to put the numbers in if you didn't want to. You can make these in little pillows. You could make them into ornaments. And I have to say, how appropriate right now. We have the doves. That right there, if you wanted to do something for right now, would be a beautiful thing to stitch. So this is the first of a series, days 1 and 2 of the 12 Mice of Christmas. Super, super fun. Thank you so much. It is adorable and I love it. I really appreciate you sending me that little extra treat. And I can't see, I have to look really close. Oh, you can see all of them here on the design. It shows you. They're super cute. So anyway, that's coming. If you are in the mood, I'm going to link Sister Lou's Stitches so that you can check out what she has as well. So fun. Thank you so much, Sarah. All right, that was my happy mail. And then I did a little shopping. 2 of these things for Fabric of the Months, and then I did a little shopping. The first was my Fortnight Fabrics, Fabric of the Month. I believe this is February's. Yes, February's. If you don't want to see, look away. I'm in 2 of their sections. They have 4 different types that you can choose from, and you choose which one you want to get for the year. And then there's also an ornaments pack, which is also, so I think there's 5 different options for Fabric of the Month this year through Fortnight Fabrics. I get 1 as 1/8 of a yard and 1 as 1/4 of a yard. But I love the fact that they give you 1/8 of a yard. So that's what I got exclusively last year with the one, because I wanted to try them out. I had never stitched on or tried any of their fabrics. And I enjoyed what I got. So for one of them, I did end up getting 1/4 yard. So look away right now. This first one is called Staying Alive. 18 count Aida is what I got. I love this color. This is beautiful. Now, when you look at it real quick, when I looked at it real quick, when I first got it, it looked like just one shade, but it is actual multiple shades in this color family, which makes sense because I believe, do they say, I don't remember what the name of this section of the Fabric of the Month was. It's beautiful. Beautiful, beautiful, beautiful. I adore this. And I can't wait to stitch on it. And if that other fabric for the Autumn Lane Stitchery doesn't work, this one might. Super excited. So that was the first one. And then I got a small piece. I do get their opal. I wanted to try. I don't have a ton of opal. And I thought, oh, I'll get 1/8 of a yard and see what happens. This one is called Karina Nebula. Look away if you don't want to see. And here you go. Isn't that beautiful? That is so, so pretty. I really like that one a lot too. And like, I always like to remind people of this, and I will always tell you if this is not the case. But I'm looking at this back at the camera, and some of the spaces look like it's very modeled, like heavily light versus dark. In person, it is shaded and blended much more than that. If I get a piece from anybody that is very heavily light and dark, I will make sure you know. Most of the time though, it seems the camera just picks up that variation as much starker than it actually is. So that's that. That was from Fortnight Fabrics. You can look back. And then this got forwarded because this one from Bestitch Me and then my Under the Sea Fabrics, which I haven't gotten yet, accidentally went to Connecticut. And now we're forwarding our mail. Well, this one came. The one from Under the Sea is somewhere in forwarding land. So I don't know when I'm getting it. And the last update you get is that it's forwarded. I don't think they update from there until they deliver it. So who knows where it is right now. But this was the Bestitch Me. Look away if you don't want to see it. I've seen other people show it. Again, 18 count. Here it is. It's called, and again, totally picking that up as much starker. It's not that stark. You will get a variation and it is modeled, but not that stark. This is called Life's a Peach. So fun. And this is why I love Fabric of the Month clubs, because I wouldn't necessarily have picked this, but seeing it in person, okay, you can look back now. Seeing it in person, I'm like, I could have fun and do something that I might have not maybe branched out with something like this. And because I got it from Fabric of the Month, I'm getting a chance to try something totally new. This one also has 2 different sections. One is heavily more one shade of the 2 colors, because I'd say it's a 2-color base. The other one is heavier on the other. So if you wanted to split it up, that's sometimes really great too with the hand dyes when it's a mixture. Some areas you can do one pattern that would look better with and sometimes another. So you can have fun with that too. So those are the fabric of the months. Then I have one more other thing, and I blame Carla from Carla Being Crafty. It's all your fault, Carla. I can't talk. It's all your fault, Carla, because she talks about hand dyed by Rolanda in her videos, and she shows beautiful fabrics from her. So of course, one of those days I had to go and I had to check it out. She has an Etsy shop. I'll link her down below. Now what she does, and for my Canadian friends, I am 99% sure she is from Canada. So if you're looking to get something from Canada, it might be a little bit easier. I know I have a lot of Canadian stitchy friends. Check her out. But I digress. So what she does is she has things dyed in her shop ready to go. So when you see a picture, she's done her best to take a picture of the actual piece. It's already dyed. It's not a pre-order sort of dye. So she ships things out. This was shipped out very fast, very quickly. Obviously, you're limited at any given time to what happens to be in stock, but favorite them and then you'll get notifications when they add something new, right? So this is a 16 count because you know what I'm doing is, especially ready to ship pieces, I am looking at the 16 counts just to get my stash a little bit more. Is there a name to this? No specific name. Unnamed. Oh yeah, camera picking up starkness again. There is some white, yellow, orange, and pink. And it is noticeable, but not, oh, and there's even a little shade of a blue blotch and a green, which is kind of cute. It's, if I were to stitch on this, it would be fine. Sometimes when I see the pictures on the cameras, when people show, I'm always thinking to myself, well, what in the heck would I stitch that on? But in person, it's much easier to visualize because it's not as stark as you think. But it's beautiful. So this is a 16 count Aida of an unnamed. Then I'm going to have a lot of fun trying to figure out what to stitch on that. Then, because you know, I couldn't just get that one piece. And that was really the only fabric, because there's obviously different kinds of fabric that I wouldn't use. So she does dye some fabrics, not fabrics, flosses. I know she has cottons. I don't know if she has silks. I really don't know. I'm not sure. I will link her. Check her out. But I did pick up, because I'm slowly, I don't know, there's something about this Garden Club series from Blackbird Designs that has piqued my interest. And she had this number 7, so I picked it up. So I picked that up. And then I was really close, I think, to a shipping threshold. I was really, really close. Now, normally, if I'm far away, I can't justify spending X amount to then get free shipping when the shipping is less than what I have to spend. But when I'm close, I can justify it. So I picked up, she dyes flosses, and I am just going to lift this up again, flosses for a month. Now, I don't know if she has a club or anything like that. I wouldn't know. I believe these are cottons. I'm pretty sure they are. It was the, I believe, February floss of the month, and that's what she had dyed. I thought it was a gorgeous set. I'm trying to find something. Oh, you know what? I'll show it against my lapis. They'll really show against that. Look at that. Isn't that gorgeous? Those are gorgeous, and some of them will go to you at some point. I don't know, they're so pretty, but I will keep a couple for myself, and I will share a couple with you at some point down the road. So keep an eye out for some of Rolanda. I am so sorry. I don't know 100% Rolanda. I'm going to say Rolanda. Keep an eye out, and at some point I will share some of her hand-dyed flosses with you. So that was it. Thanks, Carla. Thank you for helping me spend some money. But anyway, that was my shopping. Like I said, I have somewhere in the postal world an Under the Sea Fabrics coming. We'll see when it comes. I don't know. Hopefully at some point without getting lost. So that's my shopping. Okay, let's talk about giveaways. I talked about this week giving away. I had these 2 trims, and kind of in the spirit of the stitching for Ukraine, I saw these colors and I said, oh, That blue is beautiful, and it's very reminiscent for me. And then obviously white everybody can use. So these are 2 3-yard pieces of Petite Chenille from Vintage Needle Arts. And I asked you to say the word piece. And let's go through and see who wins those. As always, if you are the winner, please reach out to me within 2 weeks. Otherwise, usually then I choose a new name. And you can either send me a Gmail or an Instagram DM. If you don't hear from me, say after 3 days. Now, next week, I'm kind of going to be on the road, and I may not have access to my Gmail. So give me a little leeway there with that. I will do my best. But most of the time, if you haven't heard from me, then maybe it got lost somewhere in the internet world. The kids will laugh at me when I say that. Mo and I, we joke and we say we're going to check the Google. Now we know it's not the Google, but we just like to do that as a joke. So the kids always roll our eyes at us when we say things like that. But anyway, enough jammering. Who's winning these trims? Lorraine Bergstrom. Congratulations, Lorraine. You have won the trims. If you could get back to me with your name, with your address, I would love to ship them out to you. So congratulations. All right, so that's last week's. And we'll put the bowl right here so I don't. This week, what I'm going to do, we are almost at the end of, I was going to say May. No, March, hitting into April. And this is obviously, there's a new series coming out. So this is 2 series ago, but you know, if you just started back to stitching or you thought about it but didn't get it, and this series is pieces you can pick apart. It's the April version of Truckin' Along from the Stitching with the Housewives. You could easily, I mean, you don't have to stitch it as a full piece. You can easily stitch this. You can easily stitch this. You could easily stitch just the bunnies, I mean, there's so many things you could do with, and these bunnies here, super cute. So there's lots of different things you could do with this. So, because of the giant carrot right in the middle, if you would like to put your name into the bowl, the big blue bowl for this, please say the word carrot anywhere in your comment. And next week, or next video, I'm hoping it'll be next week, but next video, I will pick a winner. Carrot. Super fun. Lots of different things you can do in the spirit of upcoming April and spring and everything that goes with that. I'm so excited. So that's that. And as a reminder with the giveaways, please don't say free. Please don't say giveaway. Please be at least 18 so that I can get your address. And I would love it if you'd be a subscriber. I'm not going to hunt you down and find out whether you are. I'm not going to require you to be public as a subscriber. I'm taking your word that you are. And that's it. I respect your privacy, so you do not have to be a public subscriber. Those are the only things I ask. Other than that, we'll see who wins next week. So thank you for that. Okay, that's the stitching part. I'll be really quick with life because Megan's going to need to get dressed and her clothes are up here. So anyway, it was really warm the beginning of the week. It was beautiful. It was one of those false spring things. I think we were up in mid-70s. It was gorgeous. It was gorgeous. I went out without a coat. I had short sleeves on. It was beautiful. And then we came crashing back down to earth a few days ago, and I have been nonstop. My hands are freezing right now. I've been nonstop cold since. I really think it messed up my body to get that warm. I adored it, but I almost don't want it because then you feel the cold so much more. So I'm hoping we are getting close to spring, right? Very, very close to spring. So I am hoping that we start to feel that spring weather as well. I saw our neighbors across the street. They actually have some daffodils poking up, but they're much better gardeners than I have ever been. So I'm just going to look at their garden. I failed at tulips and daffodils back in Connecticut. Totally failed. But that's a whole nother story. What else? Shamrock is next week. Shamrock has a vet appointment. I think he's gained a little weight. His eye looks great. I think he ate something he shouldn't have last night because this morning his tummy has been totally off. His tail has been down all day. he gives me this look. Do your dogs sometimes give you the look where it's like they're scolding you, or they're basically saying, I'm very disappointed in you with that look because you're not figuring out what I need. And I really feel, he was staring at me earlier today, and I really felt that. I felt like I should know, and I just didn't. And I feel really bad for him. But so, given his tummy, I think it was something he might have eaten. I'm hoping that's just what it is. I'm hoping it's not anything else. But his eye is looking good. So he goes to see the vet on Wednesday. So him and I are driving up for about 2 or 3 days. We'll be in Connecticut. That's it. He's got the vet appointment. We're doing the final movers and all of that. And the closing is next Friday. So I'm hoping to be down before that. You technically don't need to be there. I'm hoping to sign papers before that so that I will be back here by Friday and I can be taping and filming. I think then once I've got all of that done, I'm pulling out my tape measure. I'm going to start measuring some areas, and then there's a trip to IKEA in my future. I've got ideas. And then I want to check Pinterest and all that for organizational things and there's 1 or 2 people on Instagram that, oh my goodness, especially the cubes. They are geniuses with those cubes and how they've packed them and designed them. I don't know how to store my stamps and my ink pads right now. How I did in Connecticut won't work here. So I need some ideas for that, but we're getting there. So that's going to be my project. I'm so excited when I have all of the other stuff in the rearview mirror and I don't have to worry about it anymore. So that's about it. So I'll keep you posted on Shamrock after he sees the vet. Like I said, I'm hoping today is just a blip. There was last night's dinner was not as healthy as we normally do. So there was a lot of kind of stuff that, if anything, ended up on the floor and he ate it, he'd be feeling it. I'm hoping that's just what it is. And his tail will go back up again because he is walking around with the tail down, which always makes me sad. I'll keep you posted there, and that's it. I'm just going to keep doing my stitching as I move along with it, and super excited to maybe try some of those designs that I had picked up last week, the digital designs. There's one of the gnomes that has the sunflowers that I really want to do. I just need to figure out fabrics and buy the flosses for it. And then I do want to start another full coverage. I know. But I had bought some from Heaven and Earth. So, why not start them? So there'll be more there. And some of you I may reach out to ask you how you store and keep your full coverages. Because I'm finding I have 3. And I'm finding I got to figure out the best way to store them and then the best way to be able to work on them here and there. And I know some of you work on different ones almost every day. So I may be reaching out. You may hear just you might get a strange either email or DM on Instagram from me when it comes to that. But that's it. That's all I got. The sun is shining today, although it is cold. I think we might hit high 40s though. So I guess that's something. And all of you in those warm weather places, don't laugh at me right now. My dad and stepmom live in Florida, and I had texted him kind of just to let him know what was going on with the house and stuff. He's like, oh yeah, it was 80 here this week. I'm like, oh, thank you. Thank you very much for that. But anyway, it's getting here, right? Spring is getting here. At least I didn't get the snow that my Connecticut friends would have gotten 2 days ago. So it's something. But that's it. I am rambling. I hope you're well. I hope you're safe. I hope, we all keep thinking good thoughts for this world and for peace. And if you are in that area of the world or you have family in that area of the world, I am thinking about you and I am praying for their safety. And that's it. Get lots of stitching in, I hope. Fingers crossed for all of you. And I hope it brings us peace as we do it. Until next time, happy stitching.